Hi everyone, welcome back to CrochetRocks. Tracy here, and I did buy a few little bits when I was in HobbyCraft, but as you can see the bag hasn't got a lot in it, but I did get a couple of things, and I'm going to show it to you now. I met a nice lady while I was in there. She was I just kind of got talking to her and I said, oh, can I get your advice, because I was looking for a yarn to match up with this one. As you know, well, you might know, I've been starting this mile a minute, and I've got kind of nice colours that, what is that, the bottom of the bag? Excuse me a sec. There's some bits in the bottom here. What on earth is all this? I don't know what that is. Advert. They've got an advert somewhere. So, it doesn't want to come out. There we go. Put that there. Right, move the bag. It's noisy. We've got rid of that. What's this? Knit and Natter Club. Knit and crocheters welcome every Monday. Starting Monday, a HobbyCraft in Strood. So actually, if you do live around that area, if you're one of my subscribers from the Medway towns, if you want, you can go in HobbyCraft and they'll do a knit and natter. Now, if I had a shop, that is, or an in-shop or something like that, that I was planning at some point maybe doing, I would have done exactly that. I'd have had a little table and chairs in there, tea and coffees and stuff, and I would have done a little knit and natter. So that was one thing I did kind of think about. Also, they do kids summer holiday workshops. They've got weaving, pen pots. It's a 1 hour workshop for £8. They've got kids canvas painting, which is £8 for an hour. Kids summer creatures, £5 for 30 minutes. Kids wind chimes. Oh goodness, imagine how noisy they are. Just saying, hate wind chimes. I like hearing them if I go to somebody's and it's like this little tinkle tinkle. But we live next door to a lady that, well, and we had a windy area. It just to drive me nuts, constantly going off. Anyway, that's £5 for 30 minutes. Kids key rings, £5 for 30 minutes. And kids rainbow workshop, 30 minutes for £5 or £50. That would be a bit much, wouldn't it? So yeah, that's that. Oops. The one that I normally go to don't shove things like that in the bag. But obviously, in Strood, they're thinking of ways to get people through their door. And I think, to be honest, they don't sell as much. And that's probably why. And the reason I don't think they sell as much was because I went to that store when it first opened. I did a shopping video there. And they had exactly the same as other stores, about 2 or 3 aisles of yarn, because I've been to the one in Ashford and I've been lots of times the one in Maidstone, and they're the same, 3 aisles of yarn and all the other stuff. They have 1 aisle, and to be honest, they had 2 sides, so that amounts to just 1 aisle of yarn, and then a couple of ends that had a bit on. But even that, they didn't have everything that was there. You know, they didn't have much. So I don't think they sell as much yarn there as other places. And I don't know why that should be. Perhaps in the area there are shops in the high street that sell cheaper yarns. And maybe I sell cheaper yarns because I do sell cheaper than HobbyCraft. I was quite amazed how the prices had gone up from the last time that I went. Now, that was only a little while ago, wasn't it? I did a shopping trip to Maidstone, went in HobbyCraft, did the shop, and then Gary, oh, I thought it was coming then. Gary did the shopping in HobbyCraft and the range, and we did that one. So between then and now, I've noticed a marked increase in their prices, I have to say. But I found the devil's own job trying to match this up, and the reason being, remember when you were, well, you might still wear them, but you know when in the 80s, when 70s and 80s, jeans were the thing, weren't they? Everybody had loads. And do you remember Gloria Vanderbilt and all the designer jeans that started taking off? And then mostly it was all stonewash, wasn't it? Like the light ones almost faded right out. And then there was a time when really dark denim, really dark denim was the one. So that's kind of what you've got in this, the really dark, but it's kind of looks like it's stone washed out, this indigo. So if you found any of those colours, it'd be fine, wouldn't it? It'd match up perfect with them. But do you think you can find any of those colours anywhere? Not in my shop, not in my stash. Well, I haven't looked at every bit of yarn, but I've looked at every single company that I can find, and nothing compares. So I had this one in mind because this, I've got a ball of it anyway in my Yarnavan, and I thought, well, maybe that would be fine. And it does look okay, but this is dark teal. So when you get it in the light, it's not the best match, but you know what, it'd work, it would. So I did buy some of this, and that is the Everyday DK, because I do have a teal as well. So I've got a light teal that will match up with it. So I figured perhaps this dark teal, I could use it, because when you're looking at this, it does fade to a teal. So I did buy 3 of those because I have one anyway, and I wanted to make sure I'd got enough. I definitely have enough. But then I saw this one, and I think this is an absolutely much better colour match. It doesn't look like it here, but when you're out in the light, then it does look like a pretty good kind of colour match up, because it's less teal, but it's wool. And as soon as I touch it, I feel like it's not scratchy. Don't get me wrong, it is nice and soft yarn, but that wool immediately starts to attack my hand. So I thought I only really need to use it once. So if I do use it, that's, you know, I'll just have to grin and bear it, and that'll be the end of it. But I don't want to use this because it's the wrong, everything else will be acrylic. So that was kind of my hunt for matching up the yarn, and it wasn't that successful. But seeing it in this light, that dark teal looks so much better. Now, what colour is that? Let's see. I got my neck light out, didn't I? Didn't tell you anything about it. It's got 137 meters per ball, and where the heck EPEC is it? There it is. It's just called teal. They're 50 grams and 100% acrylic. Lovely and soft. Used them lots of times. But I have to say that when I was out in the light, it didn't really look a great match. But looking at it there in this kind of light, it absolutely does. So out of the 2, I think I will definitely go for that one, because it does look pretty good. It didn't in the shop, so it might have just been that the absolute bright light of day didn't really give it that oomph. Now this one did. It looked, because the lighter colour is actually in there, in amongst it, so it did look better. So this is I think it's 100% wool, 100 grams. It's called Homegrown. It's a DK, and 225 meters, 100% British wool, and it's called Petrol. So yeah, no teal involved, and so they're both okay, but it's kind of like matches me, doesn't it? Matches me today. So that's that. I'm going to keep my piece out. So as you might have seen from my shopping video, because I did film it, I was in raptures when I found this, because one of the things that I wanted to find was this yarn, because this is the Little Dreamer yarn. I've got lots of these fluffy yarns from years ago when I have made stuff with it, and even tutorials where I've used some fluffy yarn, but I just wish they would do a white. I wish they would do some colours that are just plain, so that you could use the variegated with a white that is exactly the same. Because, to try and match that up, if I wanted to put a white edging on anything, it's not going to be the same thickness, because this is actually quite thin. It will work up like a chunky because of the nap, but it is beautiful. Look at the colours in that. That is absolutely gorgeous. Now, when I first saw this, it was Victoria, Paul's other half, that actually sent me a picture of it and said, you know, this, want to get some of this. And they had 4 colours, and when we went shopping to our HobbyCraft, they only had 2 in. And at a later date, I managed to get, I think it was like 1 or 2 balls of another colour. But there's 2 very colourful ones. So as soon as I saw this on the shelf, I think I bought most of it. It's 100% polyester. I only bought 5, but enough to make something. But yeah, you know. Because there's only 120 meters on each ball. It's hand wash only, so you know, it is a kind of a delicate kind of care, and it works up as a chunky, as I said, which is a bulky 5 for you guys across the pond. But it's got some lovely colors in it, so I did get 5 of them, because, you know, it's not got massive amount of yardage, and at any point when I get a baby, not my own personal baby obviously, but when I get a baby, I can make something really nice for the baby, whether it'll be a complete set or a blanket or whatever, I don't know, but it's there now waiting for a baby. Not that I'm hinting to my kids at all. So that was my little shopping trip. It wasn't very much, as I said, but then, you know, I gave myself a bit of a yarn ban, because I have so much yarn and have a shop full of yarn, so I don't really need to go out buying extra yarn right at this precise moment in time. But I knew from, you know, as I was going there, it was going to be around there, if they had the little dreamers, I was going to buy it. And I wanted to get a colour for my project to actually work with this, so, you know, mission accomplished now, I suppose. Really, it's not the same as the dark denim colour in this, but you saw it kind of goes, it sort of matches up, so that's what I'm going to use. So thanks for watching. Next time I go, hopefully it'll be a bigger store and there'll be more variety, and I might not be on such a yarny ban, but thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.